I love baseball cards. Got 'em, need 'em, got 'em, need 'em, need 'em, need 'em, got 'em, need 'em.
Welcome to another Remember the Greats episode of Flea Market and Antique Mall Pickups. I wanted to share with you today something that I normally don't collect, but I knew this was too good of a deal to pass up. And I went to an outdoor flea market, and this was again one of those storage locker type of flea markets where people come on the weekend, open up their locker and say, it's for sale, go for it. And this guy had these laying out on a table, a stack of like 15 of them. And I wasn't too sure what they're worth. Guy didn't have any prices on anything. You know, one of those booths that, you know, I think this guy enjoys the haggling process of, you know, flea markets. And there was a stack of pennants there, and I normally don't collect pennants, have no idea what pennants are worth, and laying there was this right on top. And if many of you are unaware, sorry, I got the lens cap in the way there. I grew up in the St. Louis area, and I saw this, and I'm like, wow, a St. Louis Cardinals pennant. And that's football Cardinals, not current, you know, St. Louis Cardinals baseball. I believe it was 1988 that the Cardinals came to Arizona. I saw this and I'm like, I got it. You know, I'm going to go ask this guy what's he want for these. So I started going through the pile, and I came across a couple other ones. You know, University of Illinois, which is a pretty nice pennant. University of Missouri, which is where I currently live, is in Missouri. And I thought these were very cool and colorful and unique. So I asked the guy, what are you asking on the pennants over there? Well, if any of you have ever negotiated with people, and this is at card shows, you know, wherever, the worst thing you want to hear is, well, it depends. Oh boy. Okay, so what's that mean? Well, it depends. Well, to me, these aren't worth that much. You know, I don't know what I'm going to do with them. I might hang them up eventually, but so I said, okay, well, I have my on the St. Louis Cardinal one, the football one. Oh well, I'll tell you what, I can do $4 on it. I said, well, you know, that's a pretty good deal. He actually had two of these. One was not in as great a shape. This one's been bent in the middle, bent on the edge here, but there was some sort of writing on it. You know, like somebody, you know, tested their Sharpie on it or something, and it wasn't an autograph. It was, you know, like a number 34 or something. Like maybe that was somebody's favorite player on the Cardinals or something, and they wrote it on the pennant. But I said, well, $4. Will you take 7 if I buy them both, or you know, will you take 6 if I buy them both from you? I think I offered, and that's the nice thing about flea markets. You know, most people there are willing to haggle a little bit, and I'm not saying you walk up to somebody with $100 item and offer them $10. I'm saying, you know, $1 or $2. So he said, well, I can't give them both to you for, you know, that, but I can meet you in the middle. How about 7? And I said, yeah, you know, 7 for 2 of them. That's not a horrible deal. So I tell you what, I'm not really too interested in both of the Cardinal pennants. I only would like one of the two, but there were a couple college ones over there that I had my eye on, and if you'd be willing to sell those 2 for 7, I'd do that. And he's like, well, which ones? So I walk over back to the table with him, and you know, this guy has a lot of tables. That's why I keep saying walk back to the table. He had like 12 tables set up. So we walked to the table with the pennants on it, and I said, well, in particular, I'm interested in the Missouri and the Illinois pennants here, you know, from the college years. And, you know, I don't have ties to Mizzou, but, you know, I've been to the campus, I live in the state, so, you know, and I said, you know, Illinois is where I grew up, and, you know, I'd like to, you know, make an offer on those. And I said, I'll tell you what, will you do 3 for 10? Will you do Illinois, Missouri, and Cardinals for $10? Guy said, yeah, no problem. So, good deal, bad deal, I don't know. I thought these were just cool as heck. They were in pretty decent shape. I'm going to have to get some pennant holders or something to put them in. I know they make them. I don't know if I want a top loader one, but I'll at least get the soft sleeved ones. So that way if I do decide to hang these up, I'm not actually sticking a hole through the pennant itself. This Missouri one has a couple, I don't know if you can see that, and probably just making things blurry, but the Missouri one does have a couple thumbtack marks through the top there and down here at the base as well. So obviously somebody at one time had this one hanging on their wall. I passed on the University of Arkansas just like this, and so I was able to talk to somebody that had a little bit of knowledge about these, and I asked him straight up, did I make a good deal? Did I, you know, pay what they were worth? And long story short, the guy said, you know, they're not in the best shape. You know, if I was going to grade them 1 to 10, you know, I'd say 7 at best. You know, they're not dirty, they're not stained. You know, a lot of, you know, if you've seen white pennants, you know, pennants with white on them, you know, it's like they're attracted to dirtiness. I don't know how else to put it. You know, almost looks like your cat walked across it or something. They're so filthy sometimes. And he said, you know, the St. Louis Cardinal one is just, you know, bright with beautiful colors. It's almost like something you'd see back in the day. And he estimated the Cardinal one was probably from the 70s, you know, maybe early 80s. And he estimated the University of Illinois and the Missouri one at probably, you know, the 70s as well. So he said, with all that in consideration, if you were to ever try to sell them, you'd easily get 10 to 20 a piece for them. Maybe on a good day, you know, 30 to 40, depending on if you found the right seller, you know, the right buyer. You know, that's the thing that he told me, you know, and this is somebody that collects old school bobbleheads, not the current bobbleheads, but the ones, you know, from the 50s and 60s, and pennants and yearbooks, you know, unique items from teams that no longer exist, say like the St. Louis Cardinals football team. And he said, you know, it just depends on your buyer. You know, if somebody has an emotional attachment, say they went to the University of Illinois, they might pay more than somebody, you know, that didn't go to the University of Illinois. A little bit different pickups video today. Wanted to share this with you. These are some nice additions to decorate the man cave with. Wish I would have possibly maybe thought about buying some more, but you know, these were to me the best of the best that were there. There were a couple like Indianapolis Colts ones, which I knew were from the 90s. You know, I think there was another U of I one that was circa 80s, 90s. It wasn't as full color. It was that typical white pennant that you, if you remember, from the 80s. And it was very dirty, very filthy. In other words, you'd have to give me $3 to take it home. So I felt that I did pretty good with what I found. You know, like I said, I left the other Cardinal one because it wasn't as good a shape, so that might be somebody else's find if they ever want a St. Louis Cardinals football, you know, pennant to add to their collection. So in closing, I hope you enjoyed this video. I don't know anything about pennants. I just bought these because of the nostalgia and how cool they looked. Definitely would think these would look pretty sweet hanging on the wall someday. Just got to figure out what wall I want to put them on. So thanks for your time, and I hope you enjoyed the video, and check out some of my future videos with my pickups. Thanks.